major disorders of the circulatory system. We have the assessment of the heart. So, yung heart, hollow siya kasi wala siyang laman sa loob. Muscular siya, kaya siya tumitibok, nagre-relax, nagko-contract. Four-chambered organ siya kasi meron siyang dalawang atrium, meron siyang dalawang ventricles. Nagko-contract siya 60 to 100 times sa normal na tao, sa healthy and at rest. Yun yung basis natin for heart rate. Nagpa-pump siya ng 4 to 5 liters of blood kada isang minuto. Located siya sa gitna ng lungs, sa above ng diaphragm, ang tinatawag natin yung mediastinum. Ang size niya is clenched fist. Nag-extend siya from the left second to the left fifth intercostal space and horizontally from the right edge of the sternum hanggang sa left mid-clavicular line. So, tinatawag din siyang inverted cone. So, ito yung position of the heart in the thoracic cavity. And yung heart, since inverted cone nga siya, yung taas, yun yung base. Sa uppermost portion, yun yung base. So, naglalay yun between the upper portion of the sternum and sa left second ICS. Yung apex of the heart naman, siya yung nasa baba, siya yung lower portion. Nag-extend siya from left thoracic cavity, malapit sa fifth intercostal space hanggang sa left mid-clavicular line. So, yung heart, nahati siya sa dalawa, nahati siya ng septum. Meron siyang right side and left side. So, yung right side, yun yung pulmonary circulation kasi siya yung nagpapasok ng blood sa lungs para magkaroon ng gas exchange. And yung left side naman ng heart, siya yung nagpapump ng blood papunta sa buong katawan mo, kaya tinatawag siyang systemic circulation. Ang blood flow sa heart ay nagsa-start sa inferior superior vena cava, right atrium, tricuspid valve, right ventricle, pulmonary valve, pulmonary artery, lungs, magiging oxygenated na siya, pulmonary vein, right and left atrium, bicuspid valve, left ventricle, aortic valve, and then aorta. So, yan. Skip. So, meron tayong dalawang circulatory pathways. Yun nga yung pulmonary and systemic circuit. Yung pulmonary, siya yung nagpapump ng blood sa lungs gamit yung right ventricle, and yung systemic naman, pinapump siya papunta sa body gamit yung left ventricle. So, yan. Same lang. So, sabi lang dito sa pulmonary circuit, sila nagtatransport ng oxygen poor na blood galing sa right ventricle papunta sa lungs. And then, magiging oxygen rich na doon. Kapag systemic naman, oxygen rich na siya, tapos dadalhin na lang siya sa mga tissue, pati kasama yung mga nutrients. Kinukuha nila yung carbon, tapos yung mga basura doon. Tulad ng mga so, meron din tayong great vessels, yun yung SIPA. Ang SIPA, meaning nun is superior inferior vena cava, pulmonary artery, pulmonary vein, and aorta. Yung superior inferior vena cava, sila yung nagpapasok ng blood sa right atrium mula sa upper and lower part ng torso. And sa pulmonary artery naman, sila yung exit sa right ventricle papunta sa lungs. Tapos yung pulmonary vein naman, sila yung nagdadala ng blood galing sa lungs papunta sa heart ulit, which is yung sa may left atrium. Yung aorta naman, siya yung nagtatransport ng oxygenated blood galing sa left ventricle papunta sa buong katawan mo. So, sa may heart chambers, meron tayong dalawa. Upper chambers, yun yung atrium, left and right. Lower chambers, yun yung ventricle, left and right din. Yung septum nga yung naghahati sa kanilang dalawa. And yung heart chambers, meron tayong thin-walled atria. Kaya sila thin-walled kasi nagre-receive lang sila ng blood and pinapump lang nila yun sa ventricle. Pero kapag ventricle, thicker-walled sila kasi nga pinapump nila yon papunta sa labas ng body, which is sa lungs and yung sa systemic. So, yung left ventricle is thicker than the right ventricle kasi nga systemic siya, yung lungs malapit lang. Mas malaki yung workload niya. So, sa may heart valves naman, meron tayong AV valves and semilunar valves. So, yung AV valves, yun yung atrioventricular. Ibig sabihin, nasa gitna sila ng atrium and ventricle. Kapag semilunar valves naman, sila yung daanan palabas ng heart. So, yung AV valve, meron siyang dalawa, tricuspid and bicuspid. Yung tricuspid, yung nasa gitna ng right atrium and right ventricle. Bicuspid, yung nasa gitna ng left atrium and left ventricle. Yung semilunar valve naman, meron din siyang dalawa, pulmonary valve and aortic valve. Yung pulmonary valve, yung papunta sa lungs. Yung aortic valve, yung papunta sa systemic. So, ayan, yung mga heart valves, one way lang sila kasi iniiwasan natin na magkaroon ng backflow ng blood. Kaya sila one way lang kasi pine-prevent natin yung regurgitation ng blood sa ventricle. So, sa may pericardium naman, yun yung fibrous sac or serous membrane na nag-a-attach sa great vessels na nagsusurround sa heart. Tapos, yung small amount of pericardial fluid is secreted within the pericardial sac. Kaya yung movement ng heart mo, hindi smooth lang, hindi siya parang bumabagal or whatsoever. Kaya kasi friction-free nga siya. So, yung neck vessels naman, we have the carotid artery na located sa groove between the trachea and the right and left side of sternocleidomastoid muscles. Yung carotid pulse, important siya sa pag-assess ng pulse and sa amplitude and control doon. Yung jugular vein naman, meron dalawa, internal jugular vein and external jugular vein. Since internal, malamang deep yun and medial siya sa sternocleidomastoid. Yung external naman, mas superficial siya and naglalay lateral siya sa sternocleidomastoid above ng clavicle. So, important ang jugular veins kasi sila yung nagde-determine ng hemodynamics ng right side of the heart. So, yung cardiac cycle, sila yung nagre-refer sa filling and emptying of the heart sa chambers. Meron yung dalawang phase, diastole and systole. So, yung diastole, dilate. Pag systole, squeeze. So, ang diastole, since dilation, relaxation yon. Ang systole, since squeezing, contraction yon ng ventricles. So, ang diastole, since nakarelax siya, so nagre-receive siya ng blood. Kapag systole naman, siya yung nag-emptying. So, meron tayo ditong systole. So, kapag systole nga, squeezing siya, contraction. Kaya ang tawag sa kanya, isometric contraction phase. AV valve yung naka-close kasi nga, emptying. So, ang open nga kapag ganito is yung S semilunar valves. So, dito, ejected yung blood kasi nga in-empty. And then, the rapid ejection phase, early systole yon. Kapag reduced ejection phase, late systole yon. So, sa may diastole naman, nagre-relax yung ventricles kasi nga, magdadilate sila. So, tawag dito, isometric relaxation phase. Ang open naman dito, yung AV valves. Kasi close sila kanina, di ba? Ngayon, yung naka-close naman is yung semilunar valves. Nagfi-fill sila ng ventricle about 70 to 80% ng capacity nun. Ang tawag sa rapid ventricular filling is early diastole and ang slow ventricular filling is mid-diastolic period. So, ang nagko-contract din yung atria dito and ang tawag doon is kapag nag-contract yung atria, yung mga ventricles, nagfi-fill sila for another 20%. And ang tawag sa phase na yon is sa final phase ng diastole, which is known as atrial systole or atrial kick. So, sa heart sounds, ang heart sounds ay produced by valve closure. So, ang opening ng valves ay silent lang. Ang normal heart sounds ay characterized as lob and dub. So, yung lob, since L siya yung, wala naman tayong, basta pag love, systole yon. Pag dub, since yung dub, yun yung diastole, siya yung, kaya nga D, dub, diastole. Ayun. Tapos, yung heart sounds, yung S1 nga, yun yung love. Yun yung maririnig mo pag nag-close yung AV valves. Tapos, mas malinaw mo siyang maririnig sa apex and nagko-correlate siya or pag narinig mo yung love, ibig sabihin, start na ng systole. And nagko-correlates din siya sa carotid pulse. Kapag S2 naman or dub, siya nga yung sa may diastole, kaya nga dub, siya yung second heart sound. Maririnig mo siya kasi nag-close yung semilunar valves. Ibig sabihin, magka-correlates din siya sa beginning ng diastole. So, meron tayong extra heart sounds, yung S3 and S4. Naririnig yon dahil sa diastolic feeling sounds, which result from ventricular vibration secondary to rapid ventricular feeling. So, sa may S3, meron tayong ventricular gallop na maririnig mo in early diastole after S2. Best mo siyang maririnig at the apex. And yung S4 naman is atrial gallop. Late mo siya maririnig sa diastole. Just before S1 mo siya maririnig. Heard best siya in mitral or tricuspid area. Yung murmurs naman, yun yung swooshing. Pag may narinig kang murmur, ibig sabihin nun, merong turbulence ng blood flow. Sa may pericardial friction rubs naman, maririnig mo siya sa pericarditis, 'di ba? Kasi nga, high pitch grating sound siya. Leathery siya pakinggan and hindi siya nagbabago with respiration. So, yung S3 dahil nga sa ventricular feeling, sa S4 naman dahil sa slow ventricular contraction, yung S3 yung ventricular gallop, and yung S4 yung atrial gallop. So, yung S3 maririnig mo siya as Kentucky or love dub D. Kapag S4 naman, D love dub. And yung S3, mas madali mo siya maririnig using the bell nang naka-left lateral position yung patient mo, and sa S4 naman, dapat naka-supine, tas bell din yung gamit. Ang S3 is normal sa mga bata. Normal na siya sa mga bata. So, yung sa base, malakas yung S2 kaysa sa S1. Sa apex naman, malakas yung S1 kaysa sa S2. Yan. So, we have cardiac landmarks. Ito yung APET-M. Ibig sabihin ng APET-M, aortic, pulmonic, Erb's point, tricuspid, and mitral. So, yan. APET-M. So, aortic, pulmonic, Erb's point, tricuspid, mitral. So, ang aortic, maririnig mo siya sa dito sa may right second, yung pulmonic left second, yung Erb's point sa third, yung tricuspid sa fourth, yung mitral sa fifth na midclavicular line. So, ayan yun, nasabi naman na. So, pag nagpapalpate tayo ng cardiac landmarks, meron tayong tatlong ginagawa. Pulsation, trills, and heaves. Pulsation, gumagamit ka ng finger pads. Trills, ginagamit mo yung palmar surface of the hand mo. Yung heaves naman, parang may mararamdaman kang lifting doon. So, now we have the coronary artery disease. So, sa Manila, nagkaroon ng 28% increase sa deaths due to coronary heart diseases sa first 10 months of 2021 na kinumpare sa same period nung 2020. So, ang coronary heart disease is usually associated with the buildup of fat sa loob ng arteries na tinatawag nating atherosclerosis. Dahil doon, nagkakaroon ng increased risk for blood clots. So, coronary artery disease din ay cause ng plaque na nagbe-build up along the inner walls of the arteries of the heart. Kaya yung nagnanarrow yung lumen and nare-reduce yung blood flow sa area. Ibang tawag sa CAD is atherosclerotic heart disease or ASHD, atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease, coronary heart disease, and ischemic heart disease. So, meron siyang risk factors, non-modifiable and modifiable. Sa non-modifiable, ito yung hindi na mababago, which is age, gender, increase yung risk neto as you age, which is 65 years old. Sa lalaki, 45, sa babae, 55. And kapag meron kayong family history and heredity, mas prone ka syempre. And kapag meron ka ng cardiovascular disease, mas susceptible ka dito. So, sa risk factors, sa modifiable, we have obesity and diabetes. We have cigarette smoking, which is 2 to 6 times higher yung risk nila kaysa sa mga hindi nag-i-smoke. And physical activity, regular exercise, maintain body weight, blood pressure, and lipid values. Physically active people have increased HDL. And meron ding hypercholesterolemia, nakakita natin sa lipid profile. Merong HDL and LDL. And sa hypertension naman, yung stress, constantly nag-elevate yun ng BP. Kaya, nagli-lead yun sa CAD. So, other adult cardiac diseases, atherosclerosis, coronary heart disease, angina pectoris, myocardial infarction, hypertension, peripheral vascular diseases across the lifespan, merong anemia, leukemia, and DAC. So, yung atherosclerosis is hardening of the artery dahil sa plaque na nag-build up sa arteries doon. So, ang definition ng atherosclerosis is yung fatty material lang na nag-ipon-ipon sa side ng wall. Pero kapag tumigas doon, atherosclerosis na yon. And ayun, yung atherosclerosis, type siya ng arteriosclerosis. Pero normally, or yung mostly sa mga tao na parang na may mistake siya for the same thing. So, ang atherosclerosis, syempre, nagkakaroon nga ng build-up ng plaque doon, black plaque. Pag nagkaroon ng build-up doon, tapos na-break yon, pwede yun mag-move into the heart, to the lungs, to the brain, and magkakos yun ng stroke, heart attack, and pulmonary embolism. So, ang risk factors is diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high fat diet, obesity, personal or family history of heart disease, smoking, cerebrovascular disease, kidney disease involving dialysis, peripheral vascular diseases. Kapag ang clinical manifestation naman ng atherosclerosis, merong chest pain or angina pectoris nga na tinatawag natin, SOB, jaw pain, back pain, arm pain, especially sa left side or either during exertion at rest, palpitations, which is yung parang ang lakas ng tibok ng puso mo, masyadong mabilis, dizziness, lightheadedness, fainting or syncope, weakness on exertion or at rest, irregular heartbeat, and meron tayong tinatawag na silent ischemia. Yun yung wala pa ring symptoms kahit na kita naman sa ECG na 50% na ng arteries is blocked na. Then, we have diaporesis, which is yung too much na pagpapawis. BP elevation, signs of underlying disease is pwede mas maging evident, katulad ng sa may cardiomegaly, valvular disease, and arrhythmias. Meron ding ECG recordings, nagva-vary deep, depende sa activity na ginagawa mo. ECG na usually nagre-reveal ng previous infarction. So, yung pharmacologic management natin dito is nitrates, aspirin, antihypertensive, anti-cholesterol or cholesterol-lowering drugs ata to, na tinatawag nating statin. So, sa may aspirin, ang aspirin ay anti-platelet, diba? Kaya iiwasan yung pagkakaroon ng heart attack and angina. Tapos, dahil nga anti-platelet, hindi na masyadong magpa-form yung mga clots, kaya mas nape-prevent yung pagkakaroon ng rupture ng plaque and pagkakaroon ng MI. Ang side effects nga lang ng aspirin is pwedeng mag-lead sa bleeding problems. So, sa may beta blockers naman, pinapababa niya yung heart rate mo, yung BP mo, pati yung demand ng heart mo sa oxygen. Napaprevent neto yung mga future heart attack and sudden death. Sa may nitroglycerin naman, which is yung nitrates, itong medication na to, is nagre-reduce siya ng chest pain, nagpapababa din siya ng oxygen, and dinadilate niya yung coronary arteries mo. Kaya mas madaming oxygen yung nasusupply doon. Meron siyang iba't ibang klase, spray, tablet na nilalagay sa ibaba ng tila mo, which is tinatawag nating sublingual. And, ayun. So, long-acting, meron tayong skin patches naman and tablets. So, ito nga yun, yung chest pain. So, kapag nagbigay ka ng nitroglycerin, kailangan mong i-check yung BP, yung cardiac rate, and dapat ka mag-watch out for headache, lightheadedness, dizziness, flushing, nausea, vomiting, increased heart rate, and orthostatic hypotension. So, sa may ACE inhibitors naman or angiotensin converting enzyme, ito naman yung nagdadilate ng blood vessels by increasing blood flow. Kasi yung ACE is yung ACE, siya yung sasabi sa adrenal glands mo na, sige, i-constrict mo na yung mga vessels na yan. Pag bilinak mo yon, hindi na sila magko-constrict, magdadilate na sila. So, ito, sila yung mga pril. So, yung calcium channel blockers, sila din nagdadilate din sila ng coronary arteries para mag-improve yung blood flow, napapababa din nila yung BP, pati yung heart rate. And sila naman yung mga PIN. Yung mga statin naman, sila yung anti-hyperlipidemia, di ba? Or cholesterol-lowering drugs. Ayan. Yung hyperlipidemia, yun yung medical term para sa abnormally high level of fats or lipids sa blood, which is include cholesterol and triglycerides. So, nursing care sa atherosclerosis is vital signs, activity tolerance, history of precipitating factor, nursing diagnosis, provide physical and mental rest, relieve pain by administration of vasodilators, discourage smoking, educate patient regarding diet, medication, activity, provide necessarily emotional support to the clients. Tapos, meron naman tayong sakad, meron din tayong angina pectoris. So, yung angina pectoris ngayon yung chest pain, episodic precordial substernal chest pain na dahil sa kakulangan ng blood supply sa heart mo. Pag merong ischemia, magkakaroon ng hypoxia sa part na yan. So, merong 3 types yung angina pectoris, stable, variant, or Sprint's metal, tsaka yung last is unstable. Kapag stable, nare-relieve by rest. Kapag variant, meron pa ring pain at rest dahil sa coronary artery spasm. Kapag unstable, mas matagal siya, severe yung symptoms niya, tapos dapat ka nang mag-rule out ng MI. So, angina pectoris, simple symptom daw siya ng complex ischemic heart disease. Yon. Tapos, stable angina, yun nga yung pain related sa exertion pero relieved by rest. And yung variant or Sprint's metal angina, meron pa ring pain at rest dahil sa coronary artery spasm. Tapos sa unstable angina naman, mas prolonged yung pain, mas malala, and ayun. So, ang nursing care dito is vital signs, activity tolerance, patient history. Refer to the general nursing diagnosis for clients with circulatory system disorders. Yung myocardial infarction, irreversible myocardial injury na siya dahil sa prolonged ischemia. So, frequently naapektuhan nito is yung left ventricle dahil sa increased workload niya. So, yung myocardial infarction, yun yung heart attack natin. Ang heart attack kasi, kulang yung oxygen doon. Ang difference niya sa cardiac arrest, yung cardiac arrest is nag-stop completely yung heart dahil sa electrical problem. So, ang pathogenesis ng myocardial infarction is we have occlusive intracoronary thrombus, vasospasm, and emboli. So, sa occlusive intracoronary thrombus, a thrombus overlying an ulcerated or fissured stenotic plaque causes of transmural acute myocardial infarctions. Sa vasospasm naman, with or without coronary atherosclerosis, possible siyang associated with aggregation ng platelets. Yung emboli naman is spreading from left-sided mural thrombosis, vegetative endocarditis, paradoxic emboli from the right side of the heart through a patent foramen ovale. So, yung risk factors, age, gender, DM, high blood pressure, dyslipidemia or hypercholesterolemia, tobacco smoking, short-term exposure sa air pollution kasama yung carbon monoxide, nitrogen dioxide, and sulfur dioxide. Pero hindi kasama yung ozone. Risk factors, family history na may ischemic disease, lack of physical activity, psychosocial factors, walang pambili ng ulam, cherries. Ayun, basta dito, low economic status, parang hindi sila nakaka-eat ng healthy foods. Sa socio-economic factors naman, yung mas shorter education and lower income, unmarried cohabitation, nagre-result sila sa alcohol or basta sa hindi na healthy na pinakain. Then, yung oral contraceptive pill is nagkakos din yun ng mga heart problems. Then, sa myocardial infarction, heart attack, irreversible necrosis na siya ng heart dahil nga sa prolonged ischemia. Ang prodromal symptoms niya, or ibig sabihin ng prodromal symptoms is bago pa yung event, nangyayari na sa kanya to, is yung fatigue, malaise, and chest discomfort. Pwedeng intense, unremitting for 30 to 60 minutes, retrosternal, nagra-radiate sa neck, sa shoulder, sa jaw, sa ulnar part ng left arm. Sa substernal pressure, mayroong feeling na squeezing, aching, burning, or even sharp. Ang difference ng STEMI sa NSTEMI is yung STEMI mayroong ST elevation, sa NSTEMI wala, kaya nga non-ST elevation yan eh. Artery spasm or coronary, ito yung artery spasm, ito yung suddenly nag-tighten yung muscles of the arteries of the heart, kaya nga artery spasm. Signs and symptoms ng myocardial infarction, chest pain, pressure sensation, fullness or squeezing in the mid portion of the thorax, radiation of chest into jaw or teeth, shoulder, arm, back, associated with dyspnea, SOB, epigastric discomfort with or without nausea, vomiting in some patients, merong epigastric feeling of indigestion, fullness or gas, associated with diaparesis, syncope or near syncope, impairment ng cognitive function. And para ma-diagnose to is merong number of tests na available. None is completely sensitive and specific for myocardial infarction, particularly in hours following the onset. Timing is important as correlation with patient with electrocardiograms and angiographic studies. So, ito yung mga tests na magsasabi kung meron ka daw bang MI. So, creatinine kinase or CK, enzyme siya na nakikita sa heart, sa brain, and sa skeletal muscles, pati sa other tissues mo. So, kapag tumaas yung amount ng CK sa blood, ibig sabihin merong muscle damage. Yung test na yon, minimeasure niya yung amount ng creatinine kinase sa blood. So, kapag sinabing CPKMB, yun yung cardiac marker na ginagamit natin for acute myocardial infarction. Kasi, ang CKMB, yun yung creatinine kinase myocardial band. Kaya yun yung ginagamit, di ba? Ulit-ulit eh. Sorry. Kapag CPK, yun yung sa cardiac muscle kasi nga myocardial band. Kapag CPKMM, yun yung sa skeletal muscle. So, kapag mas mataas yung CKMB, ibig sabihin nagkaroon ka ng heart attack or other health problems. Sa may troponin naman, yun yung group of proteins na nakikita sa skeletal and heart muscle. Fiber siya na nagre-regulate ng muscular contraction. Ang troponin, troponin test, sila yung nagme-measure ng cardiac specific troponin na nasa blood para malaman kung nagkaroon ka ba ng heart injury. Troponin, meron siyang 3 types. Troponin C, T, and I. CTI. Yung amount ng cardiac specific troponin T or troponin I is yun yung mag-help sa'yo mag-identify ng individuals na naka-experience ng damage sa heart nila. Normally, yung troponin is very small lang siya. Almost undetected quantities niya sa blood. Pero, kapag mayroong damage sa heart muscle, nare-release talaga yung troponin sa blood. So, sa may myoglobin naman, found siya in the heart, skeletal muscles din. So, nagka-capture siya ng oxygen na yung muscle cells ginagamit for energy. So, kung saan merong heart attack and severe muscle damage, dun nare-release yung myoglobin. So, yung myoglobin, nag-i-increase siya sa blood 2 to 3 hours pagkatapos ng first symptoms ng muscle damage. Yung normal range niya is 25 to 72 ng per ml. Yung lactate dehydrogenase naman, LDH test, siya yung nagme-measure ng kung gaano kadami yung lactate dehydrogenase sa blood mo, also known as lactic acid dehydrogenase. So, nakikita siya sa blood, minsan sa other bodily fluids din. And ang LDH is a type of protein, also known as an enzyme siya. Nagpe-play siya ng important role sa paggawa ng body mo ng energy. Nakikita siya almost sa lahat ng tissues ng body mo. Yung mga tissues na yun, pag na-damage sila, nagre-release sila ng lactic acid. Tapos, ayun, malalaman mo na mayroong damage or disease or injury. Sa AST naman, aspartate aminotransferase, nakikita siya sa liver talaga. Pero meron din siya sa heart, skeletal muscle, and kidney. Kapag ang AST is present in both cytoplasm and mitochondria, dun kadalasan present yung AST sa cytoplasm and sa mitochondria of cells. Yung high levels ng AST is nakikita sa myocardial infarction, acute liver cell damage, hepatitis, carbon tetrahydrochloride poisoning. So, ito yung mga normal na values na kailangan natin tandaan. Pero hindi naman pinatandaan yan sa atin. Ang important lang talaga dyan is yung sa may kanina sa may ito. Sa may myoglobin, which is yung normal range niya is 75 to 72. Ito yung kadalasang complications ng myocardial infarction: arrhythmias, conduction defects, sudden death, extension of infarction or reinfarction, congestive heart failure, pulmonary edema, cardiogenic shock, pericarditis, mural thrombosis with possible embolization, myocardial wall rupture with possible tamponade, papillary muscle rupture with possible valvular insufficiency, ventricular aneurysm formation. So ito yung sa nursing care, sa may MI, sa assessment, dapat malaman mo kung may changes ba sa heart rate, rhythm, conduction of the heart, dysrhythmias, PVC close to T wave, VTAC, AF, and ang vital senses dapat every minute hanggang maging stable. Intake, output, pulmonary congestion, dependent edema, chest pain, restlessness, cyanosis, and dyspnea. So, meron tayong pre-hospital and medical management. So, sa may pre-hospital, ito yung parang hindi naman, basta sa pre-hospital, we have IV access, supplemental O2, pulse oximetry, immediate administration of aspirin en route, nitroglycerin for active chest pain given sublingually or by spray, telemetry and pre-hospital ECG if available, medical, oxygen, aspirin, nitroglycerin, percutaneous coronary intervention or PCI. Yun yung treatment of choice sa may STEMI. Tapos meron din tayong CABG or coronary bypass grafting. Yung angiogram, yun yung chine-check kung narrowed na ba or blocked na ba yung arteries of the heart. Pero kapag percutaneous coronary intervention na ginagamit nga sa STEMI is meron tayong angioplasty, which is nagpuput tayo ng stent kung saan natin nakita na block yung artery. Nursing intervention, relieve pain, symptoms of ischemia, respiratory functions, promote adequate tissue perfusion, reduce anxiety, monitor potential complications. Tinatawag din, nangyayari din to kapag hindi, meron din tayong tinatawag na congestive heart failure, congestive cardiac failure, which is nangyayari kapag hindi sufficient yung na-pump ng heart mo na blood para ma-meet yung needs ng body. Planning, implementation, respond to dysrhythmias with fibrillation, cardiac massage, or medications as appropriate, administer drug as ordered, administer oxygen as necessary, recognize that the client is subject to sensory overload, provide gradual increase in activity, provide emotional support to client and family, reduce anxiety and accept client fears. So here we have cardiac hemodynamics. It is the basic function of the heart to pump the blood out of the heart. And minimeasure siya through cardiac output, which is yung HR or heart rate times stroke volume. Ang stroke volume is yung amount of blood na pinapump out of the ventricle with each contraction. Ang HR is primarily controlled by autonomic nervous system. Meron determinants ang stroke volume, yung preload, afterload, and contractility. A precise measurement ng factors na yon is nagre-require ng hemodynamic monitoring. So, yung preload, yun yung amount na presented sa ventricle bago mag-systole. So, kapag nag-i-increase ang pressure sa ventricle, na-stretch out yung ventricular wall, and then, nagkakaroon ng force doon. Kapag too little or too much yung muscle fiber na na-stretch, nagkakaroon ng decrease sa volume na in-eject. Yung determinants ng preload is yung venous return ng blood na nag-create ng volume na mag-enter sa ventricle during diastole, and yung ventricular compliance or yung elasticity or amount ng give na nag-enter sa ventricle. Decreased elasticity dahil sa thickening of the muscles, which is yung hypertrophy. Increased fibrotic tissue within the ventricle is yung sa MI. So, sa afterload, yun yung amount of resistance sa ejection ng blood galing sa ventricle. Para ma-eject yung blood, dapat yung ventricle ma-overcome na yung resistance na yun na kinakos ng aorta and systemic vessels. So, inversely related siya sa stroke volume. So, kapag ang increase sa afterload is nagkakos sa ventricle para mag-work harder and mag-decrease yung amount of blood na na-eject. Ang determinants naman ng afterload is yung diameter or distantability ng great vessels, which is yung aorta, competence of semilunar valves, significance constriction, high blood pressure, and narrowed valvular opening sa stenosis na nagkakos ng resistance or afterload. So, yung contractility naman, yun yung force of contraction related sa myocardium. Nag-i-increase ng contractility and stroke volume. Yung catecholamines, nire-release siya ng sympathetic stimulation during exercise. And meron tayong administration of positive inotropic medications. MI naman is necrosis and fibrosis of myocardial cells. Sa non-invasive assessment of cardiac hemodynamics, we have right ventricle preload, which is na-measure sa jugular venous distension, left ventricle afterload, which is yung mean arterial blood pressure, overall cardiac functioning, which is yung activity tolerance. So, we have central venous catheters, intracardiac pressure in heart failure measured in the supine position at one time lang and pinipredict yung outcomes after discharge. Yung PAP naman or pulmonary artery pressure, yun yung most commonly parameters na ginagamit sa cardiac catheterization case. Mean PAP, systolic PAP, diastolic PAP is often derived visually, marking the waveform output by a fluid-filled transducer. So, yung sa central venous pressure, syempre sa large central vein, and nagaano ng mean ng right atrial pressure yon. Kaya right ventricular preload yung pinimeasure niya. Sa normal pressure naman nun is meron 2 to 5 mmHg, and then next we have heart failure, which is yung hindi makapag-pump yung blood. Yung heart ng enough blood para ma-meet yung needs ng tissue na oxygen and nutrients, kaya nagkakaroon ng fluid overload or tissue perfusion. And ang heart failure ay problem with contraction. Ang heart attack ay problem with circulation, and ang cardiac arrest ay problem with electrical. Some cases ng HF is reversible pero mostly progressive sila and lifelong na. Ang pinagmulan or etiology niya ay coronary artery disease, cardiomyopathy, hypertension, valvular disorders. Primary cause talaga is 60% yung atherosclerosis. So, sa right-sided heart failure, ang manifestation ay sa systemic, and sa left-sided heart failure, ang manifestation ay sa pulmonic. So, we have NHA classification of heart failure. So, sa 1, walang problem. Sa 2, may slight problem. Sa 3, marked na yung limitation. Sa 4, kahit at rest ka rin pa din. Sa dito naman, sa A, high risk pa lang. Sa B, meron na pero walang symptoms. Sa C, may symptoms na. Sa D, end stage na. So, yung digitalis, ang therapeutic level niya, ang therapeutic ng digoxin ay 0.5 to 2 mg per ml. 0.5 to 2 mg per ml. So, here we have aortic aneurysm. A thoracic o aortic aneurysm is kapag mayroong abdominal widening ng aorta. Pwedeng ascending, transverse, or descending part ng aorta. So, yung aneurysm ng ascending aorta yung pinaka-common. And yung abdominal aneurysm yung kadalasang nangyayari between renal arteries and iliac branches. So, ang aneurysm ay kadalasang cause ng atherosclerosis dahil na nag-weaken yung aortic wall, gradually nag-distend yung lumen. Other causes niya ay age, family history, fungal infection, congenital disorders, inflammatory disorders, trauma, syphilis, hypertension, and then we have the ascending aortic aneurysm, which is the most common type. Kadalasang nakikita sa hypertensive men under 60, kapag descending naman, nakikita sa subclavian artery, which is kadalasan din sa matatandang lalaki na mayroong hypertension. And ang mga younger patients ay nagkakaroon pa din ng aneurysm, especially after ng traumatic chest injury or infection. So, pathophysiology is kung na nagkakaroon ng weakness sa layers of the aorta, which is yung tunica media or tunica media, yung inner layer, tunica intima, outer layer, and tunica adventitia. So, baliktad, yung muscular layer pala yung media, inner yung intima, adventitia yung outer. And kapag nagkaroon na ng bulge sa aneurysm, yung pressure ng blood doon is nagpo-pulsate, kaya nagkakaroon ng progressive weakness doon, kaya lumalaki yung aneurysm. And ang aneurysm ay pwede maging dissecting, hemorrhagic, and the false aneurysm ay pwedeng mag-occur sa entire wall ay injured with blood contained surrounding the tissues. A sac eventually forms and communicates with an artery of the heart. Ang signs and symptoms sa ascending aneurysm, we have pain, which is the most common symptoms of thoracic aneurysm, bradycardia, murmur, or aortic insufficiency. Pericardial friction rub, unequal intensities ng left and right, difference ng blood pressure between left and right, and jugular vein distension. Kapag descending aneurysm naman, kadalasan nagsa-start sa shoulder blades and mostly sa pulmonic to. Pero kapag abdominal naman is mostly about sa trunk natin, which is wala namang masyadong pinaproduce na symptoms, pero may mapapalpate ka daw na mas sa periumbilical area. Kapag dissectic aortic aneurysm naman is merong ripping or tearing and nagra-radiate yung pain sa anterior chest, neck, back, and abdomen. Usually, abrupt yung onset niya. binibigyan ng antihypertensive, negative inotropic, oxygen, opioids, IV fluids, or blood transfusion. Tapos meron tayong inflammatory diseases of the heart, pericarditis, myocarditis, and ineffective subacute endocarditis. So, merong ang endocarditis, yun yung inner, kasi nga ang myocarditis, yun yung heart muscle talaga. Pericarditis, yun yung sac around the heart. So, una, we have pericarditis, which is yung inflammation nga ng pericardium, yung fibrous sac na nag-envelop and nagproprotect sa heart. Ang acute pericarditis ay fibrinous, effusive with purulent serous or hemorrhagic exudate. Dito, pwedeng bacterial, fungal, or viral siya. Merong neoplasm or abnormal growth, hypersensitivity or autoimmune disease, yung previous cardiac injury katulad ng MI, trauma, or surgery. Kadalasan tong nangyayari sa men with 20 to 50 after nila magkaroon ng respiratory illness. Pwede din naman siya mangyari sa mga bata. Dito, ang pericardial tissue ay na-damage ng bacteria, tapos magre-release yan ng chemical mediators para sa inflammation, and yung surrounding tissue is magkakaroon ng inflammatory process. Ang mangyayari ay magkakaroon ng friction, kaya nagkakaroon ng pericardial friction rub. And antihistamine and other chemical mediators ginagamit para mag-dilate yung vessels and maging permeable sila. Pag ganun, yung complications niya ay PCSC or pericardial effusion, cardiac tamponade, shock, cardiovascular collapse. Signs and symptoms niya, pericardial friction rub, sharp and sudden pain, usually starting at the sternum, radiating to the neck, shoulders, back, arms, vein distension, possible progression, cardiovascular collapse, fluid retention, ascites, hepatomegaly, pericardial knock, Kussmaul sign, or ang pain sa pericarditis is commonly pleuritic. Sumasakit lalo kapag nag-inspire at bumababa kapag nakaupo and naka-lean forward ang patient. So, kasi nga, napupull yung heart away from the diaphragmatic furrow of the lungs. Treatment dito is bed rest lang hanggang sa wala yung pain. Treatment of the underlying cause, non-steroidal NSAIDs, corticosteroids, antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral therapy, partial or total, pericardectomy, diuretics, pericardiocentesis. Then we have myocarditis, is a focal diffuse inflammation of the cardiac muscle. Pwedeng acute, pwedeng chronic, at any age siya. In many cases, ang myocarditis ay hindi cardiovascular symptoms or electrocardiography. Usually, spontaneous siya without residual defects. Tapos, ang causes niya ay viral, bacteria, parasitic, protozoan, fungal, or helminthic. Hypersensitive immune reactions such as acute rheumatic fever and post-cardiotomy syndrome. Radiation therapy or chemotherapeutic agents, toxins such as lead, chemical, cocaine, chronic alcoholism, systemic autoimmune disorders such as systemic lupus erythematosus and sarcoidosis. Damage to the myocardium occurs when the patient has an infectious rheumatism, nagwe-weaken yung heart, nawawala yung contractility, nagiging flappy, lopsided heart failure, cardiomyopathy, reoccurrence of myocarditis, arrhythmias, thromboembolism, signs and symptoms, fatigue, dyspnea, palpitation, fever, chest pain, mild continuous pressure, soreness in the chest, tachycardia, S3, S4, murmur, right-sided and left-sided heart failure, no treatment, antibiotic, antipyretic, restricted activity, sodium restriction and diuretics, angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors, beta-adrenergic blockers, digoxin, antiarrhythmic, quinidine, procainamide, temporary pacemaker, anticoagulant, corticosteroid, immunosuppressant, cardiac assist device, or heart transplantation. So, sa may endocarditis, ito yung ineffective bacterial endocarditis. Affection siya ng endocardium, heart valves, or cardiac prosthesis dahil sa bacterial or fungal invasion. So, causes niya ay IV drug abuse, prosthetic heart valves, mitral valve prolapse, rheumatic heart disease, congenital abnormalities, subaortic valvular aortic stenosis, ventricular septal defects, pulmonary stenosis, streptococci, staphylococci, enterococci, fungi. Sa mga non-abusers, drug abusers yan. Para sa drug abusers, staphylococcus, streptococcus, enterococci, gram-negative bacilli, and fungi. Para sa mga prostatic valve endocarditis naman, within 60 days, staphylococcal infection, gram-negative aerobic organism, fungi, streptococci, enterococci, diphtheroids. Sa endocarditis, nagkakaroon ng bacteremia following dental or urogenital procedures. May-introduce yung pathogen sa bloodstream, nag-aggregate yung mga anecdone, tas yung heart valve tissue, nag-engulf ng circulating bacteria or fungi. So, ayun. Malay, weakness, fatigue, weight loss, anorexia, lethargia, intermittent fever, night chill, splenic infarction yung sa may left upper quadrant kasi na din yung spleen, renal infarction sa may hematuria, pyorrhea, blank pain. Cerebral naman, hemiparesis, aphasia kasi nga sa utak, pulmonary, cough, pleuritic pain, peripheral vascular occlusion sa peripheries. And ang treatment sa endocarditis ay penicillin and aminoglycoside, usually gentamicin. Lahat ng tao na mayroong endocarditis ay dapat bigyan ng prophylactic antibiotic prior genital or invasive